Chaosu! Welcome to my long-awaited review of Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. In this review, I'll be breaking down the game into various segments and grading each on a scale of 1 to 10. At the end of the review, I will combine each score and average them out for the game's final score. This will be the structure of today's review. Rhythm game quality, audio/track selection, visuals, multiplayer, story, replayability, and final score. Before I begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this video and are interested in watching more Kingdom Hearts related videos. Also, this review will contain many spoilers, so proceed with caution. Without further ado, let us begin. Is Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory a good rhythm game? Well, it actually is. Melody of Memory functions a lot like Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy and manages to retain its best gameplay aspects. For one, the controls are great, and there are very clear indicators on each note to signal when to attack each enemy on screen, which is very nice for those who aren't as musically inclined as others. After you get used to the structure of the game, it becomes pretty easy to predict note patterns as well, and becomes extremely satisfying to play. When you turn on the Performer mode playstyle, the Performer notes have indicators on them too, but they are a tad bit too small, and many people probably wouldn't notice them at all until they're pointed out to them. That's how I found out anyway. Also, I have heard complaints from a few people that the regular notes and Performer notes don't line up with the music correctly, but after getting an all excellent and full Performer mode combo on every track of the game, I can confidently say that every track is charted perfectly, aside from a few tracks. There were some really annoying tracks in the game, those being Beauty and the Beast, Circle of Life, and all of the Utada Hikaru songs. Those tracks in particular have most of the notes lined up with the vocals of the song, which constantly stray away from the steady tempo of the background instruments, so this is really annoying to deal with. That, coupled with the addition of Performer notes with barely legible indicators, makes those songs in particular way too difficult in the worst ways possible. All of the other tracks in the game are very well made and are very fun to play, however. There are some other things I'd like to talk about as well when it comes to the rhythm game quality of Melody of Memory. Unfortunately, even though the core gameplay of KH-Mom functions just fine, there are some key rhythm game features that are still missing from the game. First of all, there needs to be dividers on the chart that you run on, so that there is an extra visual cue for the player that is timed with the beat of the music. This would look something like the frets that are present in the Guitar Hero charts. Secondly, there needs to be a display on screen during gameplay that clearly shows how many misses, goods, excellence, and rainbow excellence the player has, in case they're going for an all-excellent chain or just a high score. I can't tell you how many times I finished a track thinking that I got an all-excellent, only to find out that I missed one small good prompt in the middle of the song. When you're so focused on hitting every note, it becomes much harder to notice the small good pop-ups that appear. Lastly, this game really needs a practice mode, one that lets you practice specific sections of the song individually, like you can in Guitar Hero and other popular rhythm games. Geometry Dash even though it's priced at $3, even that game still has a practice mode, which is really crazy. So with this game being priced at a full $60, it is inexcusable that this feature does not exist. Rhythm game quality gets a 7.5 out of 10. Melody of Memory has 143 tracks in total, 7 of which have both a field battle version and a memory dive version, making the grand total 150. For the most part, the track selection here is pretty good and contains many fan-favorite battle themes, character themes, world themes, and even parts of the piano collections are present here too. The part that really confuses me though is Square's decision of adding songs from Disney animated movies that were never present in any Kingdom Hearts game, those being Beauty and the Beast, A Whole New World, and Circle of Life. While these songs are all great on their own, they simply do not fit within this rhythm game very well. As I stated before, a lot of the notes in these songs are timed with the vocals of the music, which aren't perfectly in time with the tempo of the background instruments, making these songs very awkward to play. I think it would have been much better if instead of these songs we could have gotten other fan-favorite tracks such as Forza Finale, Edge of Existence, or even any of the amazing Gummy Ship themes from the 3 numbered Kingdom Hearts games. Even the main theme of the KH series, Dearly Beloved, is not present on the track list, which is a huge oversight. Also, it would have been amazing if we got more Kingdom Hearts 3 music in general, and the lack of KH3 music really makes me feel like this game was rushed when it didn't have to be. I would have gladly waited until 2021 if it meant we got more KH3 music. In addition, Melody of Memory uses PS2 MIDI sound font music for the KH1 Rechain of Memories and KH2 tracks, which was very disappointing to someone like me who always prefers real orchestration over synthetic instruments. I've heard some mixed opinions on this though, with some people preferring the PS2 music over the remastered music and vice versa. I think there should have definitely been a toggle option that lets players choose whether they want remastered or original music. Audio/track selection gets a 7 out of 10. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory is visually stunning in many ways, or so I wish. This game really tanks when it comes to the visuals. I understand that they had to put this game on Nintendo Switch, but some of these things I just can't let slide. Let me start with memory dives. In the memory dive songs, you fly through the level and footage from the past games are in the background. However, this footage is extremely distracting because while the gameplay runs at 60 frames per second, the footage in the background runs at 30 frames per second. This can be very nauseating and extremely distracting and took me a bit to get used to. Square Enix could have easily converted the pre-rendered footage to 60 FPS to solve this, as there are several free tools online that can do just that, but for some reason they couldn't even do that. For the normal field battle stages, the visuals are not amazing, but they are passable. I will say, however, that the KH3 Keyblade Graveyard in particular looks really off, as if none of the textures are loaded in. On top of that, KH3 Sora's model when fighting against Master Xehanort is also not pleasant to look at, and somehow looks worse than the KH2 Sora model. For the flashback cutscenes narrated by Kairi, there are also some inconsistencies. Some footage used is in full HD and looks fine, while other footage used has really bad aliasing, even though HD footage of those scenes already exist within their respective remasters. This is inexcusable for a $60 game using pre-rendered cutscenes. Everything else in the game looks fine, albeit a little blurry, but not enough to distract from the gameplay. Visuals gets a 7 out of 10. The multiplayer in Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory is less ambitious than I would have liked it to be. To start off, we have a local co-op multiplayer mode where player 1 controls Sora and player 2 controls Riku as they attack enemies side by side. I was hoping that every track on the song list would be playable in local co-op, however, there are only 21 tracks in total. Furthermore, the co-op gameplay itself is far too easy in my opinion and is lacking the one button and performer mode options that the single player tracks have. To give you an idea of just how easy the co-op stages are, I was able to get an all excellent on every stage by myself using 2 controllers in under 4 hours. Okay, so how's the online? Well, it's better, but not by much. In online battle, you can find matches on your preferred difficulty setting as well as have tricks enabled or disabled. Tricks are power-ups that are used against your opponent whenever your trick meter is full. These tricks can trip up your opponent in many ways, including making enemies invisible until they're close to you, removing the timing indicators from the notes for a set period of time, or making the timing indicators appear in a glitchy way. I myself preferred battling people without tricks, as this means that it's down to skill and skill only. Melody of Memory Online uses a skill-based matchmaking system based on the number of points you earn for winning. The higher your score is, the more likely you are to match with a person who has a similar score. However, you can still match against players with low scores after the latest patch, but you earn significantly less points for winning against a lower skilled player, which is a good thing. After the online match is finished, the winner can choose 2 out of the 3 collectibles that are presented to both players, and then you can choose whether or not you want to do a rematch. However, as of making this review, there is no invite system that allows you to play against your friends. For a $60 game, this is unheard of, and I do hope this gets patched in. You can, however, find your friend online through random matchmaking if you search for a match at the same time, though you aren't guaranteed to find each other right away. Also, I do wish there was a way to play online with performer mode and also be able to show off your most prized collectible that you have to whoever you're matching with. When you're not playing online, you can also battle against CPU, though climbing through the ranks isn't very exciting. It would be pretty neat if the bronze, silver, gold, and platinum ranks were used for online matchmaking instead. You can also view player cards of every person you play with online. It shows you how many tracks they've full chained and gotten an all excellent on, how many feats they've completed, and their top 3 most played songs. It also tells you how many songs they've completed on one button mode, but it doesn't tell you how good they are at performer mode, which is very odd to me considering that most people I watch and talk to heavily prefer performer mode over one button mode. Multiplayer gets a 7.5 out of 10. The story in Kingdom Hearts Melody Memory is not anything substantial, but it does get the player excited and ready for the next installment of the series. Throughout the World Tour, Kairi narrates the entire Xehanort saga to you, all the way from the start of KH1 up through the ending of KH3. This is a pretty concise summary of the story and is great for explaining to a newcomer what the series is about, although I still recommend playing each game to find out instead. For a veteran of the series, however, this is very underwhelming and we don't get any new story content until the end of the game. The new story content takes place directly after the Limit Cut episode of KH3 Remind, where Riku and Kairi visit the final world with the fairy godmother to talk to who can be presumed as Yozora's love interest, who is still in the form of the Nameless Star. Through the star, Riku gains access to Yozora's world, known as Quadratum, which means square in Italian. Nomura, why are you like this? We can assume from this scene that the next main installment of the Cage series will have you exploring Yozora's world from Riku's perspective as he searches for Sora. Then, after the credits roll, Yen Sid tells King Mickey that he has to go to Scala ad Caelum to search for clues about Quadratum, while Kairi is sent to train with Master Aqua. Overall, the new story elements of Melody Memory are pretty exciting for a longtime fan like me, however, I do have my fair share of complaints. First off, for a game that's supposed to focus around Kairi, it was very disappointing to see her be so useless yet again against Master Xehanort. She basically loses 3 times in the same fight and has Sora save her from beyond the grave. This is a joke, of course, I know Sora isn't dead. Secondly, Xehanort says,
"As I thought, your voice can't reach us here."
But then it transitions into the boss battle where you can hear Sora shouting battle quotes like it's nothing. Square Enix usually has very great attention to detail, so what happened here? Lastly, it feels like the entire portion of the new story we got in Melody Memory was cut straight from KH3 Remind and sold back to us at $60, which makes me feel incredibly disrespected as a longtime fan. We didn't need any new story content in this game, and it could have just been a fun rhythm game that recapped the series. Why must you milk your fans so hard, Square Enix? Story gets a 6 out of 10. For a rhythm game, Melody of Memory has incredible replayability. Going for a full chain on every song is extremely satisfying, but if that doesn't satisfy you enough, you can go for an all excellent, and then you can go for an all excellent with a full performer mode combo. That was personally all I needed to be satisfied, but for those completionists who want to go the extra mile, there are plenty of challenges for you as well. There are 100 in-game challenges called feats, which require you to get a certain amount of rhythm points, get a full chain in many tracks, and much more. There's also the Platinum Trophy, but for me, it's a bit of a slogfest as it requires you to play every track on every difficulty, and I don't like playing on beginner or standard because of how easy and boring it is. On top of all of the achievements, you can also fill up your collection, which you can earn keyblades, character cards, key arts, and cutscenes for by playing online or playing game-specific tracks to earn things from that specific game. For example, if you want to get Shirtless Mickey, you can play Wave of Darkness from Kingdom Hearts 0.2 until he eventually pops up. Going for these collectibles can be quite addicting, and the fun gameplay definitely makes it more fun. Replayability gets a 9 out of 10. The gameplay of Kingdom Hearts Melody Memory is extremely fun to experience and has potential to be even better with a few fixes and additions. The track selection for this game is pretty good, but I wish there were more fan favorites and more stuff from KH3 in general, and there should have also been a toggle to enable remastered music from the HD remixes. The story feels like cut content from KH3 Remind, and the online visuals definitely need some work. I personally don't think this game is worth $60, but a $40 price tag would have been much more reasonable for what we're getting. This game is super replayable for completionists though, which is really nice. The final score for Kingdom Hearts Melody Memory is a 7.3 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave it a like and also subscribe if you are new and wanting to watch more Kingdom Hearts videos like this one. And with all that being said, I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful day.